Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I'm Sil. Today I thought I would make a video on a few ghost stories that I have, personal experiences that I've gone through since I was a kid. I used to actually not believe in ghosts until I had these experiences, and now I have enough story to go off of to believe in ghosts. So whether you believe in them or not, these are pretty interesting stories, so I hope you guys enjoy them. I have 3, but then I also have something to add towards the end. I'd love for you guys to share your stories with me in the comments section, or just even let me know if you believe in them or not, what your take is on it. I would be really interested to read them. So the first story begins when I was probably about 12 to 14 years old. My family had a one-story house, and we had, there was 4 bedrooms because I lived with my 2 brothers. I have an older brother and I have a younger brother. So it was one night when I was sleeping, and the way my bed was set up was that here's the door and my bed would be facing this direction, so almost like directly at the door, but the foot of the bed obviously would be over here next to the door. So I was sleeping one night and I rolled over and I felt like there was something in the room with me. So that really eerie feeling that you get when you feel like somebody's like staring at you, that's how it felt. So I looked at my door and there is a figure standing there. And I'm like, okay, like what the hell? What is this? So I thought maybe it was my little brother at first, because sometimes he would come into my room when he'd be scared or he'd have a nightmare or something and he'd want comfort. But I realized shortly after that, based on the shirt that he was wearing, that my little brother didn't own that shirt. So it kind of threw me off a little bit, and it was really hard to see. Like, you could tell it was a younger kid, but it was really hard to see his face. Like, it was all shadowed out, and it looked like he was wearing a cap, but I wasn't sure. So I just kind of froze there and was staring at this shadowy figure, and it got really, really cold in my room, like unexplainably cold. And I could actually see my breath coming out, and I couldn't make any sounds whatsoever. I couldn't scream. I couldn't do anything. I just was like frozen in time. It was like the weirdest feeling ever. And so I just stare at this figure for like 10 straight minutes and nothing happens. And then probably about after like 10-15 minutes of us just staring at each other, he finally like did this little creepy giggle and then just disappeared. And I'd never seen him after that, or anything to do with it or him. I don't even know if it was a boy, I'm just guessing. So I don't know what that was, or if I was just having a nightmare, if I was having one of those lucid dreams, or what was going on. But it's something I still to this day can't explain, because I know for a fact it wasn't my brother. I actually went into his room shortly after, and he was already like passed out asleep, and there was no way he would have made it to the door and shut it and went into bed that quickly after that had happened, and I went to go check on him. So really weird, but that's story number 1. Story number 2. So I went with a bunch of friends on a whim to a random old broadcasting station. So I'm not sure if it was like a radio station or what exactly, but all we know is that it had like burned down years ago, and not much history on it. It's just kind of like an eerie little place to go to. It's out in like a random field. So we all went out there just to kind of see like what we could find or whatever. And so we're all just hanging out, and the cops end up showing up because, I mean, there's a group of these random kids in the middle of a field at night. Like, it's pretty suspicious. So we're all trying to hide from the cop, right? Well, there's like, since it was like burned down or torn down or whatever, there were like walls that weren't there, obviously. So there's like huge holes in different places. But there's this one room that had like been saved, and so we all hid into there. And we're all just standing there trying to be as quiet as possible. And the cop's like circling around in his car, like trying to look for any movement, obviously. And so we're all just standing there, and all of a sudden I feel like these tiny hands just press into my back, like very gently, but it almost felt, it was kind of weird to explain. It's like it wasn't really physical hands, but I felt it. So it was like enough of a touch just for me to feel it, but it wasn't like solid. Like, you know, if you were to back into somebody's hand, if they're touching you, like you'd feel the solid hand. Well, I didn't feel that. It was just kind of weird. So I immediately turned around. I mean, that's natural reaction, right? And there was no one behind me. Like, not even close, not even within range to touch me. And not only that, but the feeling that I had was like they were little bitty hands too. So it was almost like a child just kind of like pushing on me, almost like, hey, I'm here, or hey, I'm scared, protect me. It was really strange. And so I didn't tell anybody until after we had left, and everybody was like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It wasn't me, and I'm just like, that freaked me out. Like, that was my cue to leave. As soon as that happened, I was like, that's it. I don't care if I get caught. I'm just leaving. I'm getting out of here. I can't do this. So I walked directly out and all the way back to the truck, and I was like, I'm not going back in there. You guys can't pay me enough to go back in there. That was just so weird. It was creepy. Safe to say we all left shortly after that. No one got in trouble, but good thing is we never went back. So story number 3. So it was an afternoon on the weekend. I was in the same house as I was talking about in story number 1. And I was talking to my mom in the kitchen, and she was either like talking to me about the day or what she was going to make for dinner, something like that. And all of a sudden I look over, and on our fridge we had one of those water machines where you put your cup up there and the water dispenses out, and the ice as well. So I see my older brother, right? And I look over at him and I'm like, oh hey, you know, just saying hi to him. And he like mumbles this language that I can't understand, and something I've never heard before. So I was like, what? And then my mom looked over at me and she's like, who are you talking to? And I was like, oh, you know, he's right there. And she's like, he's not here, his car is gone. And I was like, no way, he's standing right here. And then I go and I look to see if he's there, and he's gone. And so my assumption is that he went into his room, because here's the fridge, and then there's this little hallway, and in the back to the right-hand side was his room. So I figured, okay, well, you know, he got his water, he left. My mom's like, no, his car's not in the driveway. Of course, I don't believe her. I'm like, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. I go outside and I look, and his car is not in the driveway. So I'm like, who did I just talk to? And what kind of language was that? Because I had no idea what he said. And it was the weirdest thing ever. And that's happened to me before, the same exact situation, only with a different person. So I'm like, what is going on? I don't know if it's something that follows me or what, but it was totally weird. And my last thing to add, if I haven't scared you guys too much, is that I feel like I have something that follows me everywhere, as weird as that sounds. It's not something bad though. It kind of has like a happy, positive energy. But every time I'm holding a baby or I'm with an animal, they always look over my shoulder and just stare, like for at least 5 minutes straight. They don't bark if it's a dog. They don't like show any type of aggression or fear. It's just staring. And then babies will like stare, and then they'll like smile and laugh, and then they'll just keep staring, and it's the weirdest thing. And I'm already good with animals and babies, so they usually will be all like happy around me and everything, but just seeing them stare over your shoulder is like the scariest thing ever. It's so weird. I don't know. These are just things that I've experienced. You guys can take it the way you want, but to me, it's kind of unexplainable. It's just really weird things that have happened that have scared me in the past. And I'm totally terrified of all this stuff. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I seriously am. But I just thought I would share this with you guys for my second video. Something that's kind of interesting, a very debatable topic for most people, but it's always cool to kind of listen to other people's stories and experiences, and kind of brings like a new light to that subject. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My next video will probably be live next weekend as well. I'm trying to do at least one video a week to start out. So I hope you guys are really liking the content so far. Like I said before in my first video, if you have any comments, questions, feedback that you'd like to give to me, please leave them in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe so that I can know that you guys want to see more content. And I hope everyone has a great day and a wonderful week to come. And I hope everyone takes care as well. Thanks for watching. Bye!